Alright, we got the Bobcat out today. Actually, I'm running my little Lincoln buzz box. So, using it just as a generator. This gate right here was sagging really bad, so I've got it shimmed back up into place. It's plumb. I'm gonna go ahead and burn some new hinges in and cut the old ones out. Alright, 2 new hinges. Not sagging and hitting the wall anymore. Perfectly plumb. Alright, check it out. I was just on the local classifieds app and I had a notice pop up or notification about this Miller here. And what it is, it's a little suitcase feeder. Older unit for sure, but it's a S32 SC12, takes a 12-inch spool, and it's voltage sensing. So what that means is I can run it off of my Bobcat. So wire feeder for the Miller Bobcat. And I think what we'll do, I bought it sight unseen. The guy, I shouldn't say that. I didn't buy it sight unseen. I went and looked at it, but I was unable to test it. It has a half a spool of wire still in it. And I made him an offer on it. He accepted. And then he mentioned he had some other welding leads. So I picked up these 2 leads here. They've got the old style Tweco connector on them, not the dents. So they have to be converted. But I ended up giving him $240 for everything here. If it works out, if everything's working without needing any work, it was a good buy. So let's take it out. We'll hook it up and we'll see what we can come up with. So I checked all this out when I was there, but I'll open it up and show you guys what it's all about on the inside here. So you got the spool here, and they had this lube in there. And to be honest, I've never, ever run any lube on any type of wire feed system of mine, ever. What I try to look for though is making sure that there's no pieces missing, first of all, but also making sure that there's no signs of damage on there or any reason why they would have retired it. There's your constant current versus constant voltage switch there. Older gun. I upgraded my other wire feeder to a Bernard centerfire, which is a great gun. So we'll see. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hop on and online and order some new ends for it, and then we can hook it up to this guy, see how she does. So the amperage and voltage adjustment, the rheostat here on my Miller Bobcat has started acting up. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this old one, and I did check availability. There is a new one available. So let's pull this out. We have to check the ohms. Ohmite Manufacturing, 50 ohms, 239168E, 1437, Mexico. So here's those leads I picked up. I converted the ends. We'll go ahead and use them here today. I did a video, it was one of my early videos, on using these little scrap pieces of Romex to keep your cords organized. You know, the small stuff you can daisy chain, but the big leads like this, it's so convenient. Just a 14 or a 12 gauge Romex. Inch 7018. We're gonna run it DC. Is that rheostat that I replaced a couple of weeks ago, and I've been using this thing a couple of days a week, and I thought, you know, this thing was rattling the other day, and so I popped it open to look, and I've seen these really big cracks here where each cylinder comes into the muffler. So I thought we'd pull that real quick tonight and re-weld that up. Okay, we've got a pretty decent crack right here, and we got a little one over here, here, and here. I think we'll get those welded up. I was looking at just a off-the-shelf replacement muffler, and it appears that they run about 130 bucks, and I think I can fix this for cheaper than that, so we'll give it a shot. think that's gonna work. Now this thing's all blown to pieces. I think I'm gonna pull a measurement off this and go ahead and shop around for a replacement. The thing just kind of rattles around on there and it ate that whole side out. I got a little bit of exhaust wrap left over, and I thought maybe I'd give that thing a quick wrap. One of the old tricks I've seen, which does work, is if you put this in water and you keep it in a bucket of water and you constantly pull out of the wet bucket, you don't get a lot of the dust and the fiberglass slivers. Not really sure what to do about these ends here. I think I'm gonna go online and see if I can find a few more of these steel zip ties here. I'd like to get a couple more on there. Well, it's definitely no quieter. There's always been this dent on this back corner. Kind of bothered me. See if I can tap that out. You know, I always had a grand dream of repainting this. I did repaint this Miller way back in the day when I bought it. Turned out really good. And I always had like I said, a dream I was gonna paint this thing. Just never got around to it. It went right to work. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. It might keep it a little cooler in there and it looks pretty neat. And then this showed up yesterday. It's pretty heavy. It's a nice piece. It fits on there a little bit loose. So I'm gonna cut a slit in here. That way when I put the exhaust clamp on there, it can really pinch it tight. So I've been chipping away on the little suitcase welder here in my spare time, but I've also been combing eBay for a used MIG gun, updated MIG gun. As I mentioned, I have the Bernard centerfire gun on that wire feed over there, and I happened across an auction of another used Bernard centerfire. This just showed up in the mail, and I thought I'd unwrap it and take a look at it. Now, I got this thing for a really good price because the seller had mentioned that the sheath had been slit and that it was leaking gas. Well, that right away got my mind working, and I figured there's a good chance that I might be able to repair that and make it sufficient for my needs. You know, it might not be suitable for a production shop or somebody in a situation where they're maybe having an inspector come through or something. This was a 25-foot whip too. Which is pretty long. Yeah, it looks like somebody maybe set something or dropped something on it right here. That's really near where it comes out of the unit. Oh, and they took the consumables off also. So this is the ground clamp for the voltage sensing, and I want to clean up this connection a little bit. Probably put one of these weather tights on here. It's already got a cord relief, strain relief, so I think it could benefit though from one of these nice weather tight. Keep some of the dust out anyway. Got a package. So this end isn't really easy to mess with, but this end can be trimmed as needed. So here's our cuts right here, about 5 feet up from the end. So we've pulled the liner. Now we can pull this And now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut this sheath back, and we can move this whole mechanism up here. And then we'll trim the 5 feet off the liner. We should be good. So all these wires here, all this stranded copper has to go up beyond this tube, so that tube's got to get trimmed back to right there. Okay. Okay, that goes back on. Nice and tight. Last but not least, we have the excess liner here. What I'm going to do is pull that tight throughout my lead here. Pull it tight, nip it. I'm going to nip it right here at the tip of the gun, and then that is what slides into here, and we should be good to go. That goes in there. All right, so I was able to get some consumables in over the weekend. These are 045, and I'm gonna try to run 035. Should be no problem. Knock on wood, we'll see. And then I'm thinking I'm also gonna set this unit up to be able to run 5/64, which is 2mm wire. But let's go ahead and see if that 3.5 will push through that lead there. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up one of my bottles. I'm gonna be running this unit primarily off my gas-powered Bobcat welder 250, but I'm gonna run it inside with shield gas right now, just off the XMT over here, just to kind of get a test run and get used to it before I swap it out for flux core. It's already got this gas shield wire in here, big wire. I had my voltage up way too high on that one. Definitely got some sticky wire somewhere. Okay, I think we've got a good starting point. Of course, it's going to take a little bit longer to get this whole machine learned, but good starting point anyway. I think we'll go ahead and tackle a personal project with it. Through a connection, a relative, uncle, I got a bunch of this. It's actually NR 311. It's like the Lincoln shielded wire. It's a little bit higher than the 211, higher in nickel, that is. And so I'm gonna run that. They said it smokes a little bit more than the regular 211, but we're gonna go ahead and run it, see how I like it. I got a whole bunch of it, so we'll be setting it up and seeing how it runs. Okay, so this is one of the larger spools of wire here, opened, this 311 flux core wire, and I need to adapt it to this. So what I've done is I've drawn a file up on the computer, and I think we're going to cut something on the plasma table, on the burn table. Okay, so we're all gonna have a really good chuckle about this down the road. You guys saw me doing some welding with this. It's the 311 flux core wire, and I was warned that it smoked a lot, but I was very surprised by the amount of spatter that was coming off of those welds. So I was kind of thinking about it in my head, and then it hit me. What do you see wrong here? This goes to the box, and yep, that's right. It's set up as electrode positive. Flux core almost always runs electrode negative. I'm gonna see if this makes a big difference. Okay, so last time I was using this, I wasn't 100% satisfied with the way that the wire was feeding through. It was welding, it was working, but it wasn't reliable enough to where I could count on it. So I ended up finding a new liner for it for a really good price. New old stock liner. You can see it did go through, but it was a very tight fit. You can see this is a much better fit here. All right, this O-ring that came on there is really cracked and broken. So I grabbed a new one out of my kit. Get that on there. .5/64 right there. That hole is a little bit out of round. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up. I'm gonna go to 7/64 on that. All right, this liner is a little bit long because we trimmed this lead, but I just trimmed it down a little bit closer to size, but it's still a tiny bit long. This has to go in there and thread in, so it looks as if I'm about 1.25 inches long right now. I'm gonna trim another 1.25 inches off. All right, I think we can make that work. What I'm gonna do is quick deburr that. All right, that's a piece of 3/4 plate. There, got the cover. Cover. I popped the breaker on the welder. electrode negative. Well, I'm going to call that a success. Machine's working. Obviously, I have a lot of learning to do. There is a bit of a learning curve, but I'm happy. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll catch you on the next one.